Hey guys, it's Michael from Fire and Brilliance, and as promised, for this episode, the last episode, and the next episode, we will be going over the comments. We've been filtering through the comments to just basically look at all of the suggestions at the same time, the questions that you guys have for Fire and Brilliance, and what you guys want to learn. And by doing that, we were able to create this episode, last episode, and the future episode as to suggestions on how to better identify gemstones. I know that these are topics I've gone over in the past in my other Geminars. Sometimes I do go over, some information that has been able to better identify gemstones and so on. But I'm making this video specifically because even though we've made videos like this, many people do have the same questions, and it's nice to have a refresher. Okay, so in this video I'm going to go over a few questions of what some of our fans have asked, and I'm going to provide you some suggestions as to how to better identify gemstones. But before getting into that, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, as well as Twitter, and I'm going to get right into it for you. Alright guys, so I'm going to go over a few comments that we have received over the past couple of weeks or so. Okay, so for example, this person by the name of April Amamita, she says, I have a black gemstone. Can I PM you? How can I contact you? Right, so and about 4 days ago, there's a person by the name of Mr. Bondat. He says, how to know if my alexandrite is genuine? Can you find out, please? Right, so and about a month ago, there's another person by the name of Jason. He messaged us and he said, or he left a comment rather, and he basically said, hi, thanks for the video. If we have a ring with an alexandrite stone, how can we tell if it's a natural or a lab one? So it's basically the same question as what Mr. Bondat says. So these types of questions in our comment section, as well as when people do reach out to us via other forms of communication, people do typically want to ask us whether or not we can better identify what gemstone they have. So it's not an abnormal question. We get these questions all the time. We get many inquiries like this. And some of you may already know, outside of YouTube, outside of doing the Geminar that we do here, you may already know that I run a jewelry business, right? So because of that, my time is very constrained in terms of what kind of bandwidth we have. I would love to take a look at all the gemstones because I definitely came from GIA, and I definitely love looking at jewelry and gemstones, but my bandwidth does not allow me to take a look and review all of these gemstones. So by saying that, what I can provide you are a few suggestions as to what you can do so that if you can better identify what kind of gemstone you have. All right, so suggestion number one is typically when people ask us this, they don't know what they have. It's normally because something was handed down to them as an heirloom. Okay, so if this is truly the case in your situation, then you may want to ask the person that handed that ring or that gemstone that handed down to you as an heirloom to see if it came with a certificate. Because if that person originally made the purchase with a certificate, then that certificate should be able to better identify what that gemstone is. So for example, if it's a diamond on again, we're not sponsored by GIA. The reason why I say GIA a lot is because I came from there, the Gemological Institute of America. For example, a certificate like that, typically what it will do is it will state whether it's a lab grown or if it's a natural. It will state the quality, the clarity, the color, the carat weight, the cut, right? If it's a diamond, and if it's a colored gemstone, then there's many quality breakdowns as well. So if there is a certificate, the first step is definitely see if there is one, because if there is, then that answers your question. That should be able to answer your question. What kind of a gemstone it is? Is it an alexandrite? Is it an opal? Is it a ruby, a sapphire, an emerald? Is it a diamond? And at the same time provide you with the quality. Now, if you do not have the certificate, then that's a different story. Okay, so if you do not have the certificate, then the second thing that you could potentially do is go to a local jeweler, a trusted local jeweler, which basically means they've been around for a while. They know what they're doing, they understand the business, and at the same time, not only do you want to find a local jeweler, but you want to find a specialized local jeweler on the gemstone that you're looking at, because not all jewelers are the same, right? So someone that's focused on primarily selling watches may not know too much about gemstones. Someone that's primarily focusing on gemstones may not know too much about custom jewelry. Someone that's focused on custom jewelry may not know too much about lab created jewelry, right? So everyone is specialized in a different way. So you may want to find someone that's specialized so that when you do bring in your gemstone, yeah, someone might be a diamond expert, but might not be an opal expert. Someone might be a sapphire expert, but might not be a ruby expert, right? So you do want to figure that part out as well. Okay, so that's the second step that you can do. That's a little more cost effective. The first two are pretty cost effective. If you can find a certificate, obviously that's free of charge. The second one is if you find it a local jeweler is willing to provide you with some free information just as a service. Typically, jewelers, if they're nice enough, they could do that as well. Typically, they won't charge you, right? So the third way is to find an appraiser. Okay, so this is not free of charge. You can find appraisers online, or you can find them locally as well. If you can find an appraiser that know what they're doing, that they should be able to identify the gemstone. And especially, you should find an appraiser, obviously, that has been certified, that has gone through courses to understand gemology, so you could trust their appraisal report, right? So definitely find an appraiser that is specialized in that specific type of stone, or actually knows more about gemstones, from colored gemstones to diamonds to moissanite to lab-created gemstones, right? So finding the right appraiser would be able to help you identify that as well. So typically, appraisers, obviously, it will cost a little more than the first two options, but it's typically will be less than if you were to send it into a laboratory for them to officially certify the report and provide you with a certificate. Okay, so the fourth option, obviously, I just went over it, is to send it into a lab, such as the Gemological Institute of America. At these laboratories, it's extremely important to know. At these laboratories, it's extremely important to know that obviously they have very sophisticated equipment. They have very high-end type of machinery, and at the same time, professionals that are in the business that are equipped with knowledge in gemology, so they can better not only identify whether or not your stone is a lab versus a natural, if it's man-made versus something that's been mined, and at the same time what kind of a quality it is, and at the same time identify exactly what kind of a gemstone it is, if it's a sapphire, ruby, alexandrite, so on and so on, right? So there you go. Those are the four ways of being able to identify what kind of a gemstone you have. Again, number one is see if you can find a certificate for that gemstone. And number two is see if you can find a local jeweler that specializes in gemstones, or that specific gemstone, to really identify whether or not, what kind of information you're looking for. Those first two options are typically cost-free. But the second two, which may cost you some money, is number three is finding an appraiser, right? And then number four is to be able to find, to basically send it into a lab. And then by sending it into a lab, you can really, with much confidence, especially if you're sending into a very reputable lab, you should be able to be very confident that you are going to know for sure what kind of a gemstone you have and what kind of quality it is, and then you will also be provided with a certificate as well. Alright guys, so as you can see, we definitely check out all of the comments that you guys leave below, and we will be making future episodes in the future, obviously to cater to what you guys want to see. So if there's something that you want to see, if there's a Gemini that you want to learn from, then definitely leave a comment below, because by doing that, we may make a video just for you, because we do that all the time, okay? So again, subscribe to the channel. Not only does it help out the algorithm, but it definitely shows that you support us, and follow us on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.